Going live.
What's
Alright,
that?
welcome back, y'all. We are coming live to talk to you about the severe weather threat tomorrow into, tonight actually, starting pretty much into tomorrow morning, into tomorrow evening. It's going to be moving up from Texas to Louisiana, Arkansas, through Mississippi, even southern Tennessee could get in on it, Alabama, Florida Panhandle, Georgia, South Carolina, even parts of southern North Carolina. So several states in the fire, in the aim of a fire. So first model that we're gonna be looking at is the HRRR. Now it's been pretty consistent in the recent runs of it showing a very strong linear aspect storm. Now what does that mean? That means a strong line of storms from north to south, moving pretty fast at the east. So as you can see, at 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's going to be starting to really start to fire up, especially here in Monroe to Vicksburg to Greenville. This is the area I'm concerned about some flash flooding because they keep getting battered by rain after rain from these storms pushing up. And then we have the possibly of the severe threat moving start, just forming over Alexandria to Beaumont to Lake Charles, up to Vicksburg, maybe Jackson could get in on it. And then as we move through the evening, morning, at 6 a.m., it's going to already be starting in pretty much southern Tennessee, Florence, Tupelo, Meridian might be getting in on some strong storms. Baton Rouge, Jackson, you're just getting some flooding rain. It's still raining behind this too. So this thing could bring about up to an inch rainfall rates per hour. Plus you have drizzles behind it. So that's going to really make a nasty situation if you're pretty much anywhere in this area that's already seen inches upon inches of rain. 5 to 8 inches in parts of these areas near Monroe, Louisiana. Hello, all of you. How are you all doing? Then we have around 10 a.m. We have the line still going from all the way up here near Murfreesboro, Tennessee, through Alabama, Huntsville. You guys just got in on some of the flooding rain. And then this is the area that I am concerned about, right in here, from Gulfport all the way up to Birmingham, even all the way up here to Dawson, Alabama. So pretty much most of Alabama, southeastern Mississippi, and far eastern portions of Louisiana, and far western portions of Florida Panhandle. And yes, you guys in Florida are also going to get in on some of the severe weather. This at 6 a.m. That's really early in the morning, so you have to have your alerts on. Have many ways to get routes to have alerts. If you're in Mobile, Gulfport, even New Orleans, you guys are going to be even earlier, around 5 a.m. Birmingham, you guys are going to start getting in on it around 8 a.m. 8 a.m. And that's going to continue moving. By 1 p.m. tomorrow, we're already going to have a pretty strong line of storms up here. But then we're going to have the severe ones down here and off the coast. These ones are going to be headed towards Apalachicola, Panama City, eventually Gainesville, but they're probably going to weaken by the time they get over here. But just in case, if you're over here, you need to have your alerts on. Have many ways. I unfortunately cannot be live tomorrow as I have stuff to do. That's why I'm doing this tonight. As we get through here, as we get to 5 p.m., it starts to dissipate. We still have some storms up here, but this area is really dissipating. This area still has some strength. From Tallahassee to Apalachicola up into Albany, Georgia. So you still have to watch this area. And you're getting a few of these back-end pop-ups, which we will have to watch throughout the day into the evening hours. Also, if you have friends and family in this region, from southern Alabama, from southern Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, southern Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, even in North Carolina, you guys need to be on alert. You need to tell your family members that there are some severe storms, even though they may know, but just give them an extra heads up. So by 8 p.m. tomorrow, we have a very small line of storms down here. We actually have some more forming right here, so we have to watch some of these moving into Atlanta, Columbus, Macon, Athens, even Augusta. You guys probably might get in on some of these. You have a small cluster up here, and a small cluster over here near Greensville. Now, the only reason why these are still living is because we still have some warm Atlantic air coming up into Florida, Georgia. I mean, this area, the cold front's really getting ahead of there. Charleston, Wilmington, even all the way up into Virginia Beach. You may need to watch for a few rumbles of thunder. Now, will it be severe? Most likely not. And this is what I'm talking about here. This is 4 a.m. Sunday. Another line of storms. More clouds and showers down here, but this is the area for Sunday morning that you have to watch in the Outer Banks, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Greenville, Jacksonville, even up into Virginia Beach. This is what I'm saying. And then those move off the coast, and it's pretty much just showers after that. And that's just one model. Weather for Hickory, North Carolina. I do remember that. It's like right. Yep, there it is. Hickory, North Carolina. Dry. You have a dry tonight. Maybe some showers tomorrow morning. Nothing too severe. And then the main cold front comes through. Brings you a whole bunch of thunderstorms. This around 1 a.m. on the 28th, which is Sunday. 1 a.m. Sunday. You need to have your alerts on for Hickory, North Carolina, as that's when the main front and main storms are going to be for you. They're going to be moving through North Carolina, northern South Carolina, southern Virginia, even southern West Virginia. You guys have to get in on some of those rumbles of thunder. Same with southern Maryland and southern Delaware. You guys could even get in onto some of your rumbles of thunder. And then look at this low. This is how you know it's strong. You have a center of it right here. Lots of wraparound rain. Now, could this be some snow? I don't think so. I don't think it's even cold enough up here in Indiana, Ohio. Wait, actually, Justin, you're in Ohio. Is it supposed to be cold on the 28th?
Yeah.
So we'll look at the winter weather radar. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, wrap around, possibly some snow. We'll look at the winter weather radar right now. No.
Yeah.
It says it's all going to be rain. Actually, some mixing of snow in Indiana. So, Hickory, North Carolina, you guys are just going to get all rain, heavy rain. Oh, I am using Radar Omega. This is Radar Omega. It's $8.99 in App Store. Not sure how much on Android. And then you need a subscription to use it on your computer. But we have colder air making its way into Indiana, northern Ohio. As you can see, some icing over the lakes. Maybe some snow up here in the mountains here near Scranton, upper Pennsylvania. Scranton, downtown Scranton, I don't think you guys are going to get in on any of the snow. Maybe a few flakes, maybe a coating to an inch, as I posted on my Twitter. But let's fast this forward a bit more. Yeah, so this is at 1 p.m. As you can see, we have some snow mixing in here a lot as this cold air really makes its way into Dayton, Toledo, Cleveland. You guys are getting on some snow in Cleveland, Lorraine, Mansfield, Erie, Pennsylvania. You are right on that mixing line. So maybe some ice for you guys up there. some ice for downtown Cincinnati because it's not going to be cold enough for full-on snow. If we look at Pennsylvania, if we look at New York City, we need to watch this. We got really warm Atlantic air coming up into Long Island and from New Jersey into Manhattan while the cold air is clashing. Right here is where we're watching for some ice. I'm going to be watching for some icing. That includes downtown New York City on Manhattan. So now if you... How's the weather in Arkansas City, Kansas? Isn't that down here, Arkansas City? There it is. It's gonna be rain and then snow. Actually, some ice, possibly. Ice, rain, snow, icy mix for Arkansas City, and this is at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So they can get some icing up there. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some icing up there into the mountains. West Virginia probably won't get much in the way of snow, even on the back end. Maybe some snow in the mountains. But this is at 7 a.m. Yeah, we need to watch New York City. New York City could get in on some pretty heavy snow action. Possibly 42 dBz, which is like the rate of it coming down. That's pretty heavy. That can definitely accumulate if the ground's not too warm. Don't forget, it's been very warm here all week. It's been possibly low 50s today. Then, even for New York City, it changes over to rain again. And then the cold air really comes into Philadelphia region. Happens to be where I am in the Philly region. And possibly some icing north and west of the city. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Icing along the coastline of Connecticut, Rhode Island. Boston, you guys may stay rain this whole time. Downtown Boston. Yeah, downtown Boston may see pretty much all rain, if not some maybe mixing at the end. Let's go to NAM 3K. It goes farther out. Never mind, it doesn't. It does show the southeast, though. So we can look at both cities for you again. Just a different model run. So Arkansas City, the NAM here shows some snow and ice on the back end. Not as much rain, but it's going to be raining pretty much through the whole day, so I'm not going to expect that to accumulate, if anything. Maybe a dusting on those grassy surfaces. And then for Hickory, North Carolina, very heavy rain for a long time. So that could be a flash flooding threat, which happens to be what the SPC also realizes, Storm Prediction, WPC, Weather Prediction Center, as they have highlighted, let me just turn off, a slight risk for flooding. That's a 2 out of 4 on the scale. That's not the highest I've ever seen in this region, but still, you have to be cautious. Turn around, don't drown. They won mainly for the southeast. We also do have some winter storm watches up here from Massachusetts. 4 to 8 inches of snow possible over there. What about Pittsfield? Probably the same. 7 or more inches of snow over here. 7 or more inches of snow may occur. And these are the Worcester Hills over here. These are the Western Mass Green Mountains. These are Catskills. So they're really high in elevation. That's why they're getting the majority of the snow. And somewhere like Springfield, probably like 1 to 2 inches. Snow 3 dBz. Nationwide weather. We're just talking about how if we look at the NAM, which days triple R I meant, which does go far enough out, I'm pretty sure. No. So if we look at the no, wait, no, we just need to use the older. We're just gonna use the 0C for now. But if we look out once it loads, some mixing at the end for Philadelphia and points north and west. I'm not sure about downtown Philly yet. Mostly rain, maybe some sleet north and west that could cause some icing. 40 to 50 dBz throughout here, so that's really heavy. Downtown Springfield, it could be a mix of rain and snow. Downtown Boston, it really depends on how much cold air gets into downtown Boston. Along the coast, sleet. Changing over to rain. Hartford, rain. Albany is a tough one. It could stay rain, or it could. Thank you, James B. Comment. Yeah, I mean, I saw a few other people streaming, but I couldn't stream tomorrow when the actual severe weather's going to happen. So I decided to go tonight. Just do a quick update. And take cities. So if you have any cities that you, any other cities that you want to see, feel free to ask. Yeah, so snow accumulations, I forgot to talk about that. Let's go to HRRR for that. Total snowfall, we're going to go region by region. We're going to start off with the southeast, which you're like, wait, doesn't the southeast not get any snow? Well, they might in the mountains. We're going to check that out. I'm going to use the 00Z because the other one's not fully done yet. Yeah, I'll be done pretty soon, Justin, so you can talk. So snowfall, downtown New York City could get in on a dusting, maybe according to an inch. Up here in Pennsylvania, looks like the jackpot in the mountains, possibly up to 5 to 8 inches over there. Scranton, really not much, but once you get into these higher elevations, a few inches, like Mount Cobb over here, Mount Pocono, maybe 2 to 3 inches up there. Still not significant. North Carolina, probably be an inch in the mountains. Some of the higher elevations, maybe up to 4 inches, like on this mountain right here on Mount Peaks Corner area. And now let's go look at the name real quick, and then Justin has something to say, which is the person who's on the phone with me right now. He'll say his spiel. After I just quickly look at the 18Z NAM, so we can check how much snow it looks like for the Northeast. Alright, so this one shows no snow for New York City, but a bullseye for Boston, maybe up to 14 inches. Maybe a dusting in these northwestern suburbs, maybe up to an inch. Scranton, it shows about 3 inches, and actually the mountains shows less. And bullseye up there in New York shows some good snow here in Indiana and Ohio, up to a foot in parts of Ohio. Not near Dayton, Cincinnati, or Columbus, which they probably want snow over in those 3 cities. And then we have the mountains, which I think is going way overboard. But if it's not, expecting a lot of snow over here. And let's go look at the GFS real quick, and then I will let Justin talk real quick. So The GFS shows about about 4 to 5 inches in New York, about 7 to 8 in Scranton. Bullseye over here in Central PA, which has been consistent with all the models. A few inches they can pick up here in Boston, maybe 3 to 4. Downtown Philly still escaping that. No, you guys don't get snow this time. Jersey Shore, possibly some snow, up to 3 inches, maybe. 4 inches in parts of southern suburbs, maybe an inch or 2 in northwest suburbs. Allentown, 5 inches. And then the mountains of, ooh, this gets close to you, James B. Maybe close, but slightly far away at the same time. Some snow in the mountains, but almost close to you based on the GFS. And then snow up in Alaska, which we're not even going to talk about. Snow in Wisconsin, maybe 5 to 8 inches up here in parts of Wisconsin. Same here in Ohio and Indiana. Dayton could pick up on maybe about 2 to 4 inches. Downtown Cincinnati, still avoiding it. Now let me send it over to Justin.
Alright. So, I just want to talk about the severe weather tomorrow. That real quick. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about the severe weather tomorrow. The one thing I was noticing is that the problem is the Cape is going to be a little bit on the lower side. There's going to be a little bit of morning convection, it kind of looks like. We can kind of see like a line of storms moves through the morning hours, and then once you get into the night around like 8 p.m. tomorrow on Saturday, it almost looks like the storms may be a little bit weaker in Alabama, but definitely you need to watch out. They could still have an isolated tornado with them, still have some damaging wind gusts, and maybe even a little bit of large hail. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Just that, like, the Cape didn't look, it's not that high. I mean, you still got some wind shear, maybe like 30, 40 knots, just still pretty good. And the dew points are like really good. They're pretty good. And you'll definitely have that cold front move through, where basically you got a wall of cold air moving in, and you got an unstable air out in front of it. That cold air will move through, try to sneak under the warm air. It will cause the warm air to rise, and then condensation will start happening, and we'll start seeing those big towering clouds. So I just wanted to talk about that a bit. I think that's all I got real quick.
I'm just trying to draw out what he means by this. So if you look at, I'm gonna go in the middle of the ocean so you can't see land. He means that warm air will come will stay like this, while the cold air will go like this and tower up, and we'll get those big puffy clouds that you see during a thunderstorm. That's how it really works. And we need a lot of warm, moist Gulf air, which we do have enough of that. That's for sure. We have easily enough Gulf air. It's just that not too major of a cold front. If this cold front was any bigger, we would probably have more severe weather. And now if I switch you over to here, this is what NWS Mount Holly is predicting for the Philly metro region through Monday. Expected snowfall, they're even saying nothing for Philly, nothing for Reading, nothing for Allentown, nothing for Somerville, Jersey Shore, Delaware, Maryland. Mount Pocono maybe can pick up just over an inch. Now, that's not a significant amount, but it's something. Let's see if NWS Binghamton has said anything about this. Yes, they have. Here's their expected. They're only saying about an inch throughout the whole region, maybe 2 inches over here in Delaware and county and the town of Cooperstown. Maybe Bath could get on in just over 2 inches. Monticello. So like, there's a few areas that could get over 2 inches, but Scranton, sadly, you're not gonna get bullseye. You may get some snow, but it's gonna be mostly rain for you guys. It really shifted. The warm air really shifted. I know you guys see that 1 count thing. I know it's quite annoying. The last thing that we're gonna look at on the screen, New York City area. Not much. Nothing for downtown Commerce. Highest amounts are up here near Middletown, West Milford, Cold Spring, just about an inch, just over an inch in both these towns. Alright. You have sex. Jesus. We're gonna probably end this at 9:30 Eastern in like a few minutes. Because if you can't tell, I'm not feeling the best with my throat. But we have a flash flood watch for northern, pretty much central Alabama, northern Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. Dense fog over here on the mid-Atlantic, and the whole Midwest has been. This has been a dense fog alley zone because the warm air is coming up from here. As the snow melts, it just makes clouds really low over this region. We also have some flood watches over here near Portland, Oregon. That's for flooding is possible. Winter weather advisories up here in the mountains, up to 2 inches, and some ice up here in the mountains. So you have to be very careful up here in these mountains, which I don't think many people live in. And yes, I know I said we're not going to talk about Alaska, but we do have a winter storm warning here. Freezing rain actually, and 13 inches of snow in these mountains. I don't think there's any towns except for Skagway, which is really tiny, as you can tell. We have winter weather advisory for just north of Juneau. That's for up to 6 inches of snow. Which you're like, wait a minute, isn't 6 inches of snow a winter storm warning? Not for Alaska. Definitely not for Alaska. We also have winter weather advisories up here just south of Delta Junction. That is for 8 to 15 inches of snow. And we actually have a winter storm watch in these mountains for 6 to 12 inches of snow. Up to 2 feet of snow in some of these mountains. Now that is a lot of snow. 2 feet of snow. We also have some wind chill advisories for 55 below zero possible throughout northern Alaska. Nothing currently going on in Hawaii. We do have a few tropical cyclones down here in the South Indian Ocean. And one that just hit Australia, but we don't have that anymore. It dissipated. Your zip code. Oh, wait. Jeffersontown, Kentucky. So you guys are gonna get a lot of rain. That's all I can say. Lots of rain, maybe some snow. Let me check that out. And if anything, it's not gonna be much snow. Maybe some flurries on the back end. Oh, actually, maybe a dusting in downtown Louisville. No, nothing for downtown Louisville. Wait a minute. Yeah, nothing for downtown Louisville. Now, if you're in Indianapolis, I would say gray, you get about 3 to 5 inches. But I don't think you guys are going to get much. Let me check the 18Z. Yeah, in Jeffersontown, maybe a dusting up to an inch. So coating to an inch. Definitely possible. Alright, how is Iowa looking? Iowa's looking foggy. Very foggy. Most of the state has dense fog advisories. Actually, the other day, the entirety of the state had dense fog advisories, which I've never seen before for that big of a state. But no snow for Iowa. Maybe some rain. Definitely possible some rain up here in Iowa, which is much needed. I'm pretty sure they actually have a small drought, which we can look at right now. Yeah, Iowa's in a pretty serious drought through the entire state, except for over here near Davenport. But otherwise, they need the rain over here in Iowa. Same with down here in Mississippi and Louisiana. They just don't want it over like a week period. They want rain, but they don't need it that fast. That causes flash flooding. Some drought up here in Montana.
I'm sorry to you, but we just got a new flash flood warning for the city of Lake Charles. If you need the counties, it's southern Allen Parish and southwestern Louisiana. You got southeastern Beauregard Parish and Kaliska. I don't know how to say that parish. Northwestern
Yep,
Jefferson Davis.
It just came in. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
for this storm.
that's
for this
You got it.
nasty beast of a storm. Let's see what the flash flood warning said. Hazard flooding caused by thunderstorms. Between 1 and 2 inches of rain have fallen. Additional 1 to 3 inches are expected in this area. That is a lot of rain. You know, if that was snow, that would be about 1 to 2 feet, I'm pretty sure.
I think what's going on here. We've got the Gulf of Mexico got all that energy coming out here. And we've just seen rounds and rounds and rounds of just
Storm 1 come through, Storm 2 come through, Storm 3, 4, 5. I think we're on 6.
It's like we didn't really stop.
I mean, I was just looking at this map while Justin was talking. This whole area that I just highlighted has seen over 5 inches of rain. Now that's a lot. That's about my monthly rainfall here in Pennsylvania. Just think about that. That all fell in a week. And for many, in a couple hours. They do have a special weather statement over here for 40 mile per hour winds and half-inch size hail. So that's headed towards Gilpally, Pine, Perry, Bunkie, and Mamau. If you're in any of those towns, get inside or away from windows. It's not severe yet, but it could definitely possibly become severe. Now, I'm not expecting it to become severe, but I'm waiting for tomorrow for more model runs to come out to see what we're dealing with, what situation we're dealing with in central Alabama to Panhandle of Florida, southern Mississippi. I don't think it's going to be an outbreak. I think it's going to be brief, weak tornadoes with mostly a damaging wind threat. And here comes another one right behind that Lake Charles storm. So that one's going to move off towards the north, towards eventually Alexandria. Where's Alexandria? No. Like Seamsport up here, Cottonport, Marksville. Wow. Just rounds of rain are just going to flood Lake Charles area, eastern Texas. As you can see, we have so many flood warnings from Texas to Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina. North Carolina has a flood advisory, but still, Michigan. It's just been, this moisture has gotten all the way up into Illinois, southern Michigan. That's how much moisture this pattern has given. Good night, Mr. Toffin. Oh yeah, we just got a marginal risk tonight. Thank you. We just got a marginal risk in. So this marginal risk is for portions of New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Jackson, Marietta, Meta, Erie, and Lafayette. Sorry for the pronunciations. And for parts of eastern Texas and southern Mississippi. So if you're just tuning in, we're dealing with a major flood threat throughout the whole southeast. Just rounds of Gulf moisture coming all the way up into Kentucky, southern Indiana, Missouri. While tomorrow we have a chance of severe weather throughout Alabama, Mississippi, Florida Panhandle, Georgia, even into portions of over Louisiana, yeah, and up into North Carolina. Actually, if James B is still here, you do have a marginal risk. Weather from Montreal, Canada. Usually we don't cover Canada, but sure, I know you in Discord, so we'll cover Montreal, Canada real quick. We're going to look at some snow totals, because that's what you guys like to tend to get a lot of. So over the next few hours, the whole run of the HRRR, really no snow for you guys for the HRRR. Instead of NAM. Maybe some isolated parts just south of Montreal near. Okay, there's no towns. Saint Constant. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly at all, but sorry for the pronunciation. And let's go to GFS just to see if there's going to be any decent snowstorms for you. The GFS has about an inch falling, or I know you know the American system. So there's gonna be really maybe around the 3rd, you guys could get a few, maybe an inch to 2 inches throughout. It actually looks like the bullseye is gonna be south of you. We're not gonna look past 300 hours. That area is La La Land. Even 200 hours is La La Land. So yeah, maybe like 1 to 2 inches, but even that, those warm temperatures are going to make it all the way up into Canada. Forgot to mention. There's going to be 50 degrees, possibly in Toronto, maybe upper 40s, mid 40s for Montreal area. But it's going to be warm. East Coast, Midwest, Southeast, warm. It's going to feel like April. It's going to feel like April. It's definitely going to feel like April throughout the East Coast. today was the hottest, where it actually reached 80 degrees in Washington, D.C. Isn't that crazy, Justin?
When I heard you say that, I actually was shocked.
80 degrees, yeah. They recorded 80 degrees in downtown Washington, D.C.
Wow. That is...
It was in the mid-80s in parts of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Well, besides Florida, that's expected. But Georgia and South Carolina, they're usually in about the 60s, maybe upper 50s in this time of year. So it was like way above average.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlanta, I'm pretty sure was over 80 today. Philly got to about, I'm pretty sure it got to 50 degrees or 55. There's a sharp cutoff. So there was really warm air south of this line right here. Don't mind that little line. Cooler air north of this line. So there's like 50s, like 40 to 50s up here, while there was 60s to 80s down here below the line. So it was a pretty stark contrast between who was really hot for this time of year and who was still above average, but not as above. And we're probably going to end the stream here, since we covered literally everything. So have a good night, stay safe, have many ways to get your weather stuff, weather information tomorrow.